joined by Karolis Stasiunas from Legacy Partner Coaching.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Art of Law.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I was using all my brain power to remember your name. so, so now that that's done, I can talk like a normal human being. So, I know very little about your journey. I was introduced to you by a mutual friend, Shaf, who said that you were somebody that I should meet. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Legacy Partner Coaching?
You know, legacy partner coaching was a place where I was able to find myself, like professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started the journey 8 years ago, my journey was my life was surrounded by sports, and you can see even my branding today is a sports lodge. It's related to sports. Over time, as I was working as a personal trainer, I understood that I'm not solving a single problem. And we in an environment of athletes, we have a joke that we have a lot of professional athletes who are ex-drug addicts. Because what people do, what we really as humans do, we move one addiction to another, and we kind of cover it with good deeds and beneficial outcomes. Just we're running away from ourselves. That was one of the ways I was running from myself. Sports. And the time was flying, like I started to run multiple businesses, do that. And at a certain point, I understood that my life was kind of, stuck with everything that I had in my past. And I understood how past was influencing my feeling, my presence in here and right now, how that was influencing my future. And I started to look ways on how I can be a solution to that. And then I understood the part that, every single one of us will leave a mark on the ground. That's our footprint. That's our fingerprint. And I got into the concept of a legacy coaching. I came to the realization that legacy for me is made out of three parts. It's a personal journey, it's an entrepreneurial journey or your career, and the third one is your impact. And when you combine all these three, is basically a cycle that starts from you, from within. And I couldn't kind of name it right, so I started to look for legacy coaching things. And then I got into legacy coach, which is not, there's no clear definition on Google. And then I was like, well, I'm not coach, I'm a co-creator, like a partner, like a non-equity partner, and that's where the legacy partner was born.
So what is it that you do?
Specifically, like through the legacy partner program, I help people to unravel the pain and the darkness in them that they don't understand, and I help them to wrap these gifts from there and make that change and implement these learnings through their businesses, through their careers, through their communities, through their families, to live a whole life. Combination of human behavior, performance, and a business development for a purpose-based world. Because that's where the joy comes. Joy of giving.
And that's so. What would you say? What would you say that your purpose was?
My purpose was always to be, worthy of having this experience. And I was always pursuing this worthiness in me by trying to be valuable, by trying to be someone to somebody. And instead of doing that, I just found out that, all I needed was to give myself that, to be worthy for myself. And when I became worthy to myself, my purpose is whatever I predict to be my purpose. So right now, my purpose is to give value in this moment. My purpose is to share this story, answer to your questions with full honesty and the best manner I can. That's my purpose right now. And when I'm gonna drive home, my purpose is gonna be to be present in what I do. And when I meet my family, my purpose will be to be the best person, the best father, best husband, best brother for my family.
So how did you get to where you are? I was told that you have an extraordinary backstory. from darkness to light.
Mm-hmm. So when my mother was pregnant, my father got arrested for a robbery. He got into prison. And as far as I remember the stories about, how he lived his life, he always was a street man. And that's how my journey started. From a 6 months old, I was a regular visitor to prisons. At the age of 4, I already knew how prison system works. Who are what. I knew that there is a bad people, there is good people. I knew that there is mafia in there. What is the cost of being part of mafia? I knew these things. Then I saw first time African children dying from thirst and hunger on the TV. And from that day, I remember my relationship with God. That's where I think it's all started. Because I remember this moment where I was asking God to take me instead of those children. You know? And I was, no, I wasn't living the rich life. We didn't have food many times. It just was I was pouring the glass of water, and I was feeling very grateful for that at the age of 4. That stuck with me, man. That stuck with me. And then my father was released from a prison when I was age of 5, and he accidentally involved me in a crime, and he used me as a tool to make that crime, and he basically kind of traveled on the man's head in front of me, and that created for a purpose of a robbery. And he picked his items in front of me, everything, and that made something for me. That did something for me, and that gathered a lot of anger in me. I couldn't process it because I understood that it was I understood that it was very very dodgy. But I couldn't because I was like in love with my father, because that was like first time I'm seeing him, I'm traveling with him, I'm being with him, and whatever he does, I'm just happy to be part of it, while at the same time understanding that it's a dodgy thing.
Mm.
And yeah, and that's where all the interesting part of my life started. Started to go on shoplifting, and I got myself into robberies until I was age of 18. And I was constantly involved in fights. I was constantly seeking to become something, someone in the street. Something, I could say, because that's you become a thing.
Mm.
You become just a tool. And yeah, my life was rolling around in Lithuania until I was like 17. So basically, 2014, August 28th, I came to United Kingdom, and that's where my life changed. Really, it started to change because that was my decision. Like I had this spark in me. I always knew. My mother always told me there is nothing more powerful than love. And I was like, I could comprehend it at some degree, but later on I understood it with every bit of my body or every bit of my mind.
How did you come to the UK? Why? What was that decision?
That was a very common thing for Lithuanians. Like we've been emigrating pretty on big numbers to England, Ireland, and other countries, and just had an opportunity. I also, by the way, I came with my father to England, because my mother was a dedicated woman. She forgave him many things that he did, and she waited almost 20 years for him. So she has all my respect for that.
Where is she now?
In Lithuania.
And your father?
Died in 2022.
So you and your father came to the UK,
Mhm.
and then what happened?
So as I came through agency, I'm 17 years old. I'm from 16. I started to work in Lithuania, so I was already doing my bits in the head that I need to leave that world. Like I need to move on. I need to create. I need to create. I always felt passion. I always had this spark of a businessman. I always had this spark of a good human being, and all I just had to do is to step aside. And I was thinking that it was people. So when I came to United Kingdom, I got a situation where agency that gave us entry to United Kingdom, they lied that I will get the job. So I didn't get the job. My father did. He got the job, but I went to agricultural work, to pick flowers. And from a birth I had eczema. So, and I bet you know that those flowers are, they're sprayed. I started to pick and I got just red up to my, elbows. And I came back home. I said, no way I'm going back there. And he said, if you're not going back there, how are you going to pay your rent? I was like, all right, because I was the one who sponsored the trip and everything. And I was like, all right. And that was like a proper slap to me. So I got involved in some action in England. And on the day of my birthday, on December 8th, 2014, I just quit it off. Like that was like the same day I went to agency, got into chicken factory for a month or so. Then I got different things. But I was working a normal job for 1.5 year, I could say. But I know where I could stay. Like I was always changing, always moving. Like none of the jobs was fitting in me with me. And then I realized why.
Why?
Because I'm a creator.
Mm.
And when you are creator, you are not mean to look into one dot, just to be there, just to get paid, because it's not about the money.
Mm. So then you started.
Yeah, and then how my journey into business started. I was like flipping stuff. So I would buy online and flip it in the groups on Facebook, on Instagram. And then I was always in my sports journey, and I was training in one local gym, and I was preparing for my MMA debut in cage. And the owners of the gym noticed me. They said like, look, you have a passion, you have spark, you're hot, like we need somebody like you around. And I started to do like a fitness trainings for their members. That's how I got involved in a personal training business. After a very short period of time, I understood that I'm selling my time, and that's not the way I should operate. So by the way, because of my friend here, he was the one who gifted me the first my business. He gifted money for that business, so I opened my supplement store, and that's where it all started to run around, and until 2017 where I got into car crash. And in the car crash, after a car crash, I started to ask some different questions, like why I'm contributing to the problems of the world. Who is that I that contributes? How I was made. Like why I am the way I am. Like why I have these emotions, not different emotions. Why I think things that I don't like.
Mm.
Why I'm constantly getting in the hamster wheel, in my head, and all these questions was a beginning for dissolving in my own illusion.
You're a businessman. You came from wherever you came from. How do you make the jump from that to personal life coach partner?
How did the jump happen?
Yeah. So you have your car accident, and you're asking yourself serious questions about life, about your purpose, your value, your contribution, your footprint that you leave on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from that
Because
to being able to teach other people?
teaching is a commitment of healing.
Mm.
In order to heal, you commit to teach. In order to learn, you commit to teach. The biggest transitioning point for me was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020 for me because I started to look into the world through different eyes. Like I was like, all right, so what we are doing here? Like, what is the numbers? you know, what what is the influencing points of this infrastructure? And then I started to feel the presence of the infrastructure in me. I started to see parts of the vision that was neither clear, neither foggy. You know, I knew what I had to do. It was, mm, it wasn't black and white. Yeah, it wasn't black and white, but it was the knowing. And I just started to go. And it changed many times in some, I could say, radical ways, maybe, changing a bit of the direction, changing the first understandings. But it was always directed to where I'm headed now or where I am now. And my becoming was a resilient commitment to show up every single day for myself, first of all. Because you can read many books, but if you don't study them, if you don't do the inner work, if you're not honest with yourself, well, it doesn't matter what you read. You can coach what you want, it never works. They always come back to the same place, just different feelings, different definitions of the feelings.
Would you describe yourself as healed?
I believe that the body is like a journey tool, and healing happens for the body. Spirit is healed. It's always healed. It never was sick. It's the body that is going through a process. Spirit is the process. Everything beyond that.
If that's true, then what's hell?
Your created conditions for your own self.
No, I don't mean hell on earth. I mean the spiritual version of hell.
So it's the shadow part of you that you do not accept.
But that's still spirit, right?
Still, it's it's the duality. When we were developing the pricing, for a legacy partner, and we were thinking about all the business model, and my friend asked, why you want to go into high ticket industry? I said, look, if I'm becoming a million a year coach, yeah, so I'm working with somebody in a C level, C executives, yeah, who will highly benefit from what I do, what I can deliver to them. So the influence that will be co-created together there will be massive. Way bigger than, for example, if I would work with myself right now at some point, yeah, like let's say, yeah. And the moment where I'm financially clear, when I can spend my time, I can go there into schools, I can go stand in talks. I don't need to get paid for that. Just if that's the message you want to share on that day, I'm here to share it. And you can look into my eyes and you can ask questions, because that's what honest people do. So that's how I will reach every single one of them. It doesn't matter for me, 8 billions, 9 billions, 7, 6. It's not about the number. It's about being present with what I do.
So you have the journey up until you started the coaching. Well, up until you had the accident, you have your journey, which was difficult. Then you have the part where you study self-development. And then you have the part where you actually practice it and teach and share.
It all was happening simultaneously.
With the studying?
Yeah. So it happened after a car crash. My first 6 months was a complete downfall. It was a complete downfall. Every day I was trying to kill myself with drugs, with alcohol. Like, it was complete down. I was like drowning. Like I was seeing a devil. I was fighting that guy. And one day I just woke up during the night, in the middle of the night. I dreamed the name of the project, Sports Lodge. Like, I saw the concept. I saw every single bit of it. That was like goosebumps. And it was with a purpose to create opportunities for everyone. I was like, okay, that's something worth fighting for, worth going for, because at that time I still needed to fight. I needed to fight. I had to handle the bad boys. I had to handle bad people who are doing bad things for the world, until I realized that it's all happening in us. How far stretched can be human being capacity of being a monster. Like we need to comprehend that part of our ancestors. It's building mindfulness with your body and mind connection. Yes, and when you are conscious of your inside processes. So, for example, it makes me feel this way. Okay, like why? Why it makes me feel this way? What is this feel this way? Like, it's when people say, "Oh, it's hard for me." It's a thing with the sports industry. It's hard for me. What does it mean, hard? What does it mean for you? Can you define it? And when they start to define these words, these general words with big meanings, they lose the problem, the root of the problem. It's all about getting that clarity. And the sports lodge was about uniting these people under one umbrella, uniting federations. By the way, just after the meeting with IBFF, Federation President in United Kingdom, the bodybuilding federation, and just I explained the same thing for him. I don't need brands or something. I don't need this my. No, my. That's all of us. Let's do this. Let's create neutral waters where we can really sit down. Your federation, my federation, this federation, doesn't matter. Let's sit down, and if we have a vision, we have a goal to really help people, why we don't do this? Why we are in a limb mode? Because you're not taking action, you're not committed, you're not honest enough with yourself. If you will be honest enough, you are unstoppable. Because there is not a single thought, not a single emotion that is going through you without being recognized and realized. Like, this comes from here. I feel this way because I'm scared of being the biggest what I can be. Our existential picture of brain, that brain perceives as what we are, is rooted into comfort. So how do we, through a mind, through a brain, how we gonna become the biggest oak that we can be without competition and comparison? It's resilience, daily implementation, daily study, not reading just to consume, but daily study. Like, I haven't read neither Bible, neither Quran, neither other books completely full. Yeah, but I always read what I was following. I was always looking for certain sequences. I had my way of reading them. Yeah, and whenever I take any line, I stay with it. Because what was the point of just reading? I have to feel it. It has to come through me. It has, like, the process of realization.
So when you interact with a new client, what's the process you go through? So imagine I was the client. What's your process?
What's the process?
Yeah, for working with me. If I was your new client, I said, "Hi, I'm now your client." Not for Sports Lodge, for
the legacy partner. The onboarding or the process of working?
The process of working. What's your process for finding out where I am on my journey?
So you know where you are on your journey. First of all, how your journey makes you feel, and what is the 90% of your thinking every single day. So you start doing a journal from early morning. So there is a wake up moment, like I said, 7-day challenge. So it's not a 7-day challenge for my clients. It's a lifestyle. It's 25 minutes in the morning. You wake up, you challenge yourself immediately. You wake up, you recognize your breathing. You appreciate that. You encode that feeling into your biology, because it listens to everything, whatever you say. Huh? So if you start your morning this way, and then you jump into intense workouts, what you do, you put your nervous system under huge pressure. So what happens when your nervous system is under huge pressure? You get into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Yeah. What if you can observe that? So fight, flight, or freeze mode is directly related to trauma. So, I was running from myself for a long period of time, my friend. And that's why I don't suppress things. If I want to tell you something, I will tell you here. Well, first of all, I will be very honest with myself why I want to tell to you. because there is a difference between ignorance and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be ignorant about how you make to feel others, how you make to feel yourself afterwards,
Mm.
or you can be very honest. And very honest starts from, okay, I'm feeling angry. Why I'm feeling angry? Because the way you treat me is a disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why?
Yeah, yeah.
So then you have a conversation, so you can have another side. That's, when you ask what they do with my clients, that's what they do.
Mm.
It's emotional alchemy. It's a mindful alchemy. It's getting that clarity, that consistency, that honesty with you. If you don't have this, you can create whatever you want. You're gonna keep getting back to the same thought. You know what I was forcing that really, really benefited me? I felt like I was forcing it, but in general, when I reflected back, I always had this, and you can listen to back to the story where I started from the age of 4. Yeah, I started to wish people success, wellness, blessings, in my mind. And I started this in a King's Lynn petrol station. And imagine I'm coming into petrol station, I'm doing something, and I'm taking something, and it was something happened that the cashier like got verbally on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned and was like, what? He repeated that, and I was like, he's just having a bad day. And I just got into this spot where he's now, raising the things in me. It's like entanglement theory, like, and I was like, okay, I came to him, I said something to him, and he looked at me, he complained about his day, which was, like ironically, just I thought about it and he's opening up on that. And I said, like, man, if you hate the place you are in, you should move into a place where you feel love, because like it's not about the money; it's about one life.
Mm.
And then he started to talk about his dream about some cake store shop, or I was like, yeah, that's something. This is something. This simple conversation. Instead of me getting triggered by him, I came up and I opened up with him, and he opened up with me. And from that day on, that's always how it happens.
It's a great kindness to do that for people.
And there is a thing that I was always told by my mother, that the many people will not wish you genuine success,
Mm.
or they will wish you not more than they have. And I came to the point in life where it's like, okay, we should double of everything, triple if I can. Because whenever I help you, I help myself. That's my belief, that we are one. We are one. We are one. We are united. We are connected and always one. And when you treat one, you treat the same one.
If we'll end on this.
Mm-hmm.
If imagine I count down from 3, and imagine that what you say next will go in front of every single person in the world, every child, no matter what scenario they're in, wherever in the world, every adult, every mother, everyone, right? What would you, if everybody in the world could hear you right now, what would you say to them?
Everything that you ever needed and you will ever need is within you. Every feeling, every word of encouragement, every supporter, every process of the healing, knowledge, knowing everything is within you, and you have every single answer to your questions.
It was a pleasure, my man. It's good to meet you.